So, can you solve this in 1 minute? Take a look to see if you can. And once you get your answer, don't put it in the chat. Don't tell me the answer just yet. Just wait until the end of the timer so we can all show our answers at the same time. 1, it's easier for me to see what you can do. 2, it gives people who are trying to come in, trying to take a look, to do some math. Okay. So we have 15 seconds. See if you can do this. Okay. I know some people are just coming in. Okay. And I know some people are like, I know how to do this. Great. I can do this in like 20 seconds. Awesome. But these are the things. Gonna have to pick up our speed, but at the same time, let's build some encouragement. Alright, so if you have your answer, go ahead and put it. Okay, Tyrone, thank you. I see what you put down. Okay, hello Dale. Welcome on in. Okay. Yup. PEMDAS, yes. Okay. Alright. Oh, you want me to wait? Okay. Is it wait? Hold on. See, I add a little bit more light. Okay, so John, or Yon, see with 32. Alright. So, since there isn't an equals, yes, we are doing our please excuse my dear Aunt Sally from left to right. Okay? That's the part that a lot of people generally forget. But we are correct that yes, you want to do the parentheses first. So inside the parentheses, we have 8 minus 2. So that means 8 minus 2 will give us our 6. Okay? And then everything else comes on down. Okay? Now, this is one part that everybody wants to do. Okay, let me just multiply the 3 and 6. No. Okay? And we're not combining the 5 and the 3. That's addition. Okay? So since we took care of our parentheses, now we're looking at the exponent. So the only thing that's being raised to the second power is the 6. So 6 to the second power, that does not mean 12. 6 to the second power means 6 times 6. And 6 times 6 will give me an answer of 36. Then we bring everything down. Okay. So now that the exponent is done, boom, now we're doing multiplication or division from left to right. Okay, the left to right doesn't go with the exponent. The left to right goes with multiplication or division, or addition and subtraction. So starting from the left, we are not combining the 5 and the 3. That's addition. So we have to do what's multiplication. So we're not doing 36 divided by 4. We're doing the 3 times the 36 first, because we do what comes first from left to right. So we have our 18, carry the 1, that's 108. Then everything else comes on down. Okay? So now that we have this, Now we go to the division. That's right here. So a positive 108 divided by 4. So I'm bringing down my 5. It is going to be positive. How many 4s can go into 10? 2 of them with a remainder of 2. Bring down that 8, so we have a 27. There we go. Okay? Because 4 can go into 10 2 times. Gives me a remainder of 2. When I bring down the 8, that's 28. So how many 4s can go into 28? Exactly 7. So now we got what's last. 5 plus the 27 gives us our 32. Okay? You got it. Good. Alright? So that's what you have to do. You have to narrow it all the way down. Okay? So you see how it kind of starts and it funnels down to your exact answer? That's exactly what you want. Forgot to cross that out. Okay? So you do what's inside the parentheses first, then you deal with the exponents. After you deal with the exponents, you're doing multiplication or division from left to right. Okay? So that's why we had to multiply the 3 and the 36 instead of the 36 divided by 4. Nope. It'll give you an answer, not necessarily the right answer. Okay? Alright? Okay. Let's try our next one. Can you do this in 1 minute? You got your master's in math. That's okay. You'll be shocked and surprised. Shocked and surprised. People with masters will still... Oh, I forgot about the negative. Small things. Alright? Okay, so... Alright. I am what? Alright? So hold your answers until the end. Got roughly, what, 15 seconds? And when the time expires and you're like, Audrey, I really don't know where to start, just put a question mark in the chat. Alright? So what do we got? Let's see what you got. All this beeping. Okay. Virginia, thank you so much for your true answer. It's not going to be a number. Okay, so if you don't know what it is, that's perfectly fine. Just put a question mark in the chat. Alright? Okay. Solve delta. There is no delta. This is not slope. Nope, this is factoring. Okay, this is factoring. Okay, Blessed R, Blessed Re, thank you so much for your honesty. Yeah, I know you were guessing. That's okay. But sometimes guessing works. Sometimes guessing puts you in a weird position. Alright, but that's okay. But we're here to clarify it. Billy, thank you so much for your answer, for your honesty. Okay, FGHI, okay. It's not going to be just an answer. It's not going to be a number. Okay. Are radicals permitted? You don't need radicals for factoring. Not for this one. Okay. Alright. Interesting attempt, Selma. But here's the thing. No. Sorry. Alright. So let's take a look. Oh, Asian map. Don't worry, it's still there. Alright, so this is factoring. It's part of the algebra family. So when we factor, okay, right now it's in what's called standard form. So standard form goes ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, so our a is just a 2. Our b is being represented by a positive 7. And our c is our constant, which is a positive 3. So when you're factoring, you're basically doing the distributive property in reverse. Oops. Trying to get a pen that actually works. Alright. So in order for us to do distributive property in reverse, we need to know a couple of things. So since our leading coefficient, and we're so used to seeing the leading coefficient being 1, but this time we got a 2 in there, so we can't just simply split our x's. We need to know what is the proper term that's going to represent the first terms of the parentheses as well as the last terms. So this is an easier way that I could like to do it, which is called the AC method. Now, AC method is not named after me, even though that is part of my initials. So what we do is we multiply. Some people like to do a cross, some people like to do it in table style. Either way, same thing. You're going to multiply your A and your C together. So 2 times 3 will give me 6. And you're going to rewrite your B, which is 7. So now you need to think, what two numbers multiplied together will give me 6 and add together will give me 7? Hello, Rashid. Welcome in. Okay, Tay, I see you. Liz, I see you. And X, I see you. Alright. So, what two numbers multiply to give you 6 and add to give you 7? Okay, Taj, I see you. Thank you. I'm trying to see what it says. Is it Yakura? Ooh. You're going to have to help me. You're going to have to help me. I think it's Yakare, Arilla. Is it Arilla? Maybe. GB, I see you. Opt out. Okay. Brenda, I see you. Yaki is fine. Okay, thank you. Alright, Dimples, I see you. Alright. I know, right? I completely butchered it, right? So, 6 times 1 will give me 6, and 6 plus 1 will give me 7. So this is one way that I like to do the AC method. So we are going to split our variable. We're going to put the numbers that we found, a positive 6 and a positive 1. It doesn't matter which one is going to be in which. You could put plus 1 here or plus 6 here. But since my leading coefficient, my A, is a 2, I need to divide those two numbers that we got by 2. This is called the divide and slide. Alright. Now, okay, you're telling that x equals 2, x doesn't equal 2. So now, we have 6 divided by 2. Does that give me a whole number? Yes, it does. So since it does, inside of that first parenthesis is going to be x plus whatever 6 divided by 2 is, which is 3. Okay? So if we can divide and get a whole number, we're putting it in its place. Now, we have 1 divided by 2. 1 divided by 2, will that give me a whole number? No, 1/2 gives you a 0.5. So since it doesn't give me a whole number, I'm going to slide. So that means my parenthesis is going to be 2x, and then I write everything that I see, which is the plus 1. So it's the AC method to get our two factors. Then you can do the divide and slide. And that works with any value of A, even if you have a negative, which you should factor the negative out anyway, but it works with a negative, it works with a positive, it works with anything. Fractions, all that. Okay? Alright? So, for your divide and slide. Okay? So, the hardest part with factoring is you need to know your multiplication. You have to know your multiplication. Okay? Alright? You knew 2 was involved, but it's really 1/2 if you solve it. Negative 1/2. Okay? Alright. So, let's try this one. Now this one is going to be a word problem. I'm not going to time it so much, because this is going to take you a little longer than 1 minute. So, as you're looking at this, how are you feeling? You were with me until I wrote the answer? Isn't that the whole purpose? Alright, how are you feeling with the word problem? FGHI, see you. Nervous? Okay. Thank you for your honesty, KP. Because I know you're not by yourself. Okay? It can be anything, and that's where the mystery is. Okay? That's what the mystery is. They're giving you some clues. So when you're looking at word problems, first off, especially when they give you word problems in standardized tests, it's usually like a long paragraph. Don't read the whole thing. You're reading it like you're reading a novel, and you're like trying to absorb each and every word. No. When you're looking at word problems, the first place you go is the question. So how many adult tickets were sold? Okay? So that means if we're specifying a certain type of ticket, that means there must be a comparison. Okay? You don't have your pencil? That's alright. Checks and balance. Okay? But how are you going to check and balance if you don't have your pencil? Now you got to change your name. Everything is all conspiracy. No, I'm just kidding. Alright? So, in order for us to do this, we have to have 2 things we're comparing. And how can I find that out? Is when I look into the paragraph. I'm noticing a couple of things that's jumping at me. Okay, one, we got 200 tickets. And there was a total of $1,800. Now, they're saying the adult tickets cost $10. And the child's ticket cost $6. So now I know my variables. I know one of my variables, which I'm going to use X and Y, because sometimes my A's, especially lowercase a's, look like zeros, and then just sometimes my handwriting can throw me off. So I'm going to say X is going to be my adult tickets, and then Y is going to be the child's tickets. So always have some kind of key. But I noticed they're talking about 2 things. And I love it. I'm getting like a different mixture of answers, which is fun. So there's 2 things that's happening. There is the amount of tickets, and there's a total dollar amount. So that means I need 2 equations. One of the equations is going to be for the tickets. I write ticks for short. And the other one is going to be dealing with the money. So they said they sold 200 tickets. Okay, We know there's adult tickets and there's a child ticket. So my first equation is going to be x plus y equals 200. So my adult tickets plus my child's tickets is a total of the 200. Okay? But now we're going to talk about the money. So the adults is $10 each. So what's representing my adults? So that means for every adult, I have to charge them 10 bucks. For the child's tickets, it's $6. So that means for every child, they should have paid 6 bucks. And they said the total of. Anytime you're doing a total, that's summing. That's putting it all together. So when you have a comparison like this, you're doing what's called a system of equations. Okay? That's exactly what we're doing. So now we want to solve for how many adult tickets. That means we want to solve this in terms of x. So we can do one of two things. Okay? We need to get rid of the y's. So we can do this either through elimination, okay, by doing something to make my y's be the same number but different signs, or we can do this through substitution. Okay, so there's one of two ways. Will I do both ways so you can figure out which way works best for you? Of course I will. All right, so let's do the first one, which is the substitution. So this top equation, since I want to solve it in terms of x, because we're looking for how many adult tickets were sold, don't solve it for y, solve it for x. So that means, or solve it for y so I can get my x's. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to solve this top equation for y, because when I do that, I can substitute into the other equation for y so I can get my x's. So this is what you do. We have our x plus our y is equal to 200. But if we solve it for y, that means I have to subtract x. And I know some of you guys like, oh, if I see that on the test, I'll just skip it. Okay, here we go, GED people. This is a 4-point question. If you skip all your 4-point questions, that's probably the reason why you can't pass that GED. Your 4-point questions is your slope, the equation of the line, graphing the equation of the line, the factoring problem that we just did, as well as system of equations, system of inequalities, volume, and surface area. If you skip any of those, the reason why I know this, I used to teach the course. If you skip any of those, you will never pass the GED. So you're going to have to face your fear. Okay? All right. So now we have 200 minus x. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this information right here, and we're going to substitute it, follow the line, for the y in that second equation. So if I rewrite it, it's going to be 10x plus 6 times what represents my y equals 1800. And what's going in for the y is my 200 minus x. Okay? So now, you solved one equation, you went in, so the y comes out, the 20 minus x goes in. So let's cover so we can focus our attention on one spot. Oops. So I want you to focus only on this equation. So from here, we can distribute. So we're going to take that 6 and everything inside that parenthesis, we're going to distribute. We're going to multiply. So it's going to look like this. You have your 10x plus 6 times 200 is 1200 minus your 6x equals your 1800. Okay. Now, here's your equal sign. I notice on the same side of the equal sign, I got like terms. 10x and minus 6x. I can combine them from here. A lot of people think, oh, I got to add 6x to the other side. No, they're on the same side. So if they're on the same side, you can combine them. That's perfectly fine. So if you want, we have 10x minus 6x. That gives me 4x. Then I just bring down my plus 1200 and equals 1800. Okay, so I combined those two to get my 4x, brought down my plus 1200. Alright, let's bring it down. Focus on this now. So now we want to isolate our x. So that means we want to do the inverse so we can move that 1200 over to the other side. So it's a positive 1200. So we're going to subtract. Whatever you do on one side, you have to do to the other side of the equal sign. Okay? These will cancel and give me a 0, but I don't need the 0 as a placeholder because I still have this 4x that's representing on the left-hand side. Okay? Now, 1800 minus 1200, that gives us 600. Alright? So then, there we go, guys. Divide both sides by 4. Reason why we're dividing, 4x is multiplication. The inverse or the opposite of multiplication is division. Divide those, and you have x is equal to, now, how many 4s can go into 6? Just 1, with a remainder of 2. Then you have, bring down the 0, so now that 2 is a 20. How many 4s can go into 20? That's 5. And you have a 0, but then we still have the other 0 we had to bring down. And how many 4s can go into 0? That would be 0. Okay. Alright. So, we found that x equals 150. But what does that mean? How many adult tickets were sold? We're saying x is representing my adults. So we're looking at 150 adult tickets. Okay. So for all my 32s and 75s and 250s, do you see how, okay, how we can get to things done? You need a raise. Why do you need a raise? Alright. So, as I mentioned, that was doing it through substitution. Okay. Can I zoom out? Is there a please with that or just a demand? I don't do well with demands. Yeah, I was one of those teachers in the classroom. I could really give a rat's ass about admin, district. If you did not put a please or a thank you next to it, go back to the flaming depths of where you came from. Right? I appreciate you. Yeah, because I don't know where. Hold on. Let me see if I can get the whole thing in there. I don't know where the common courtesies went, but they need to bring it back. Okay. Is that it? Alright, so this was substitution. Okay. I know, right? You're so welcome. So now, keeping with the same information, but I'm just going to show you another way. And it's called the elimination or linear combination, depending on where you're from. So we have our two equations. So we have our x plus y was equal to 200. And then we had our 10x plus 6y is equal to 1800. All right. So this one we're going to do what's called elimination. My personal favorite. Now, so what this said, we need to find out how many adult tickets. And remember, X was representing the adults. Okay, so we want to get rid of the y's. Okay, we're looking for the x, so we want to get rid of the y's. So I'm thinking about combining these two equations together, just like how we used to do back in the day. All right, before letters and numbers came about. Okay, so in order for me to eliminate my y's, I'm going to put a little arrowhead. They need to have the same coefficients, okay, but different signs. So I can cancel them out from the start. So that means this y up here needs a 6, but it needs a negative 6. So if I could multiply this y by negative 6, I can achieve my goal of canceling things out. But here's the trick. I can't just multiply that negative 6 just to one term. I got to do it to the whole equation. So now I'm doing the distributive property to everything in that top equation. So negative 6 times x gives me negative 6x. Negative 6 times y gives me a negative 6y. Bring down my equals. And then negative 6 times 200 gives me a negative 1,200. Okay? So I want to eliminate my y's. In order for me to do that, I need a negative 6 to be in front. So in order for me to achieve that, I can do it through multiplication. But not just that term, but the whole entire equation. That's why we're doing this, to catch the people up that are just coming in. Now you're saying, well, what am I going to do with the bottom equation? I'm just going to rewrite it. Right underneath. All my little happy trees. So now, we're not focused on this anymore. We're focused on these two equations. Hi, Brad. How are you? All right. So now, all we're doing is adding these two equations together, like so. So negative 6 plus 10. So if you have $10, you spent 6, that means you still have $4 left. And that's positive. It's nice to have a little bit of change in your pocket. But then we have our negative 6 plus 6. That will give me 0. We don't need a 0y. It'll just be a 0. Okay. I'm doing all right. So now, bring my equal sign. And like I said earlier, we don't have to bring the 0 because we still have that 4x over here. Even if you brought it down, 4x plus 0 is still going to be 4x. So that's why a lot of teachers say we just cancel it out. Okay? So negative 1,200 plus 1,800. So if you have $1,800, good job. God bless you. But you had to spend $1,200, well, that means you have $600 left. Oh, that looks familiar. Okay. Right? See? A lot of people are like, this is so much easier. I was like, I know. That's why I like to show both ways. Because some people are like, nope, I like substitution. Okay, well, some people like peanut butter and jelly with the crust on. Craziness. So now, 4x, we're going to do, that's multiplication. The inverse is division. All right. Cancel out the 4's. So now you have your x equals, and like we said, how many 4's can go into 6? That's 1. Remainder of 2, bring down to 0. So that gives me 4 groups of 5 can go into 20, and then I have my 0. And here's your answer. Okay. And there you go. So you can take a picture of that. Yep. It's like, I like that way better. So do I. But like I said, when it's time for you to take any of these standardized assessments, okay, it doesn't matter. SAT, ACT, GED, any of those high school equivalency exams, because everyone has a different name for it. Even if you're trying to do ASVAT, Accuplacer, especially the reason why I do a lot of this stuff by hand is because the ASVAT and the Accuplacer, you cannot use a calculator. You need to practice the way that you're going to test. Now, the calculator that they give you for the GED is an electronic one, so you're going to have to get used to be able to click, and that's annoying for me, but that's what they have, okay? So you don't bring your own calculator. TEAS test, you're allowed to bring a scientific calculator, okay, which is like the basic one. It doesn't have all the graphing like, say, this one does, okay? Okay, just a regular calculator. And people don't say, oh, I can use the calculator on my phone. You will not. Any of these tests, you will not be able to have access to your phone. So if you're like practicing with your phone calculator, you're going to have to practice some other way. Okay, you're going to have to basically go back to paper and pencil. And you don't want to spend too much time because you're going to run out of time. Okay? Okay. Can I do 4 into 60? What do you mean? Like show you how to do it? So if you have your 600 and your 4, okay? So your numerator always goes underneath. Your denominator stays on the outside. So how many 4's can go into 6? 1. So 6 minus 4 gives me 2. Bring down my 0. Okay, oops. Then how many 4's can go into 20? That's 5. Then you have your 0. But there was this 0 that was still up here. We still got to bring that bad boy down. So how many 4's can go into 0? 0. Okay, no problem. Nope, not for the paraprofessional either. Paraprofessional, you can't use calculators at all. Yep, everything is paper and pencil. I remember when they changed it to paraprofessional, it used to be an instructional assistant. That's what we used to be called, because I was one. And then my second year, that's when they decided to call me para. And para means fake. And I don't like that. Alright. So carry to top. Alright. Okay. So, key parts of about your basically dealing with math in general. It's like a tree. Welcome to my learning tree, Math by Audrey. We need to get our foundations together. So regardless of what test you're about to do, we definitely need to get that foundation. And the key part is right here. If you can do this, you'll be able to deal with division, you'll be able to deal with fractions, decimals, percents. Multiplication is just fast addition. Okay, our brains don't necessarily like subtraction and division because you're taking things away, and they don't like things taken away from you. You learned that when you were a baby. All right, think about it. You take something from a baby. If you want to deal with all that crying and hooping and hollering until they receive it, then all of a sudden they're fine. Okay, I know, saints, right? So once you get your math foundations, solid roots, because guess what? We didn't get to pick and choose what schools we wanted to go to. That's your environment. Okay? This tree, the seedling of that tree didn't have a reason. Like, you didn't pick the school that you had. You didn't pick the teachers that you had. You didn't pick the classmates that you have. You didn't pick the books or the curriculum that you were going to use. So there's probably a lot of this foundation that's missing. And now you're trying to fill holes while trying to do advanced math. You're going to have a root. You're going to understand some basic concepts, but you're going to have like a weaker algebraic trunk. Okay? In order for you to get a solid trunk, we're going to have to get these roots situated. So then now you're doing well with algebra. Now you can do all these other advanced math classes. Now you can do the geometry. I know a lot of you guys get nervous about calculus. I think most of them go as left earlier. But if you're going into pre-calc or calculus this school year and you're freaking out, don't freak out, because the part that really gets people is the algebra. And if you weren't strong in algebra, yeah, all these are going to be hurtful. Okay? So, we're going to have to learn to take these things step by step. So, before I skedaddle, I want to do 2 translations, because that's what hurts you with the word problems. Some of us are like, you know, you're really intelligent, you're good with the, as I like to call it, naked math. But then when it comes to translating, that's what hurts us. So let's take a look. Okay? Translate that verbally to an algebraic expression. We're going to do about 2 of these. Okay? A number decreased by 8. Go ahead and put that in the chat. What about differential equations? What about them? What about differential equations? Okay. So a number decreased by 8. What do you have? You don't have to wait. You can just put it right into the chat. And if you're not sure, you can put a question mark. Okay. So KP with the x minus 8, big L. Hi, big L. X minus 8, traveling. I see you. X minus 8, good. Okay. Alright. You can drop the equals, because right now it's an expression. There's no equals, there's no anything in there. So Brenda, we got x minus 8. Okay. Alright. So a number, which if we don't know the number, what do we use? We use a variable. You can use any letter in the alphabet except for E and I, because E and I are actually numbers. Okay, so that's why we don't use E or don't use I for any kind of variable, because it's actually a number. Decrease, you're subtracting by 8. Now, let's change this expression to an equation. I got 4 extenders here. Got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, pick one. Which one do you want? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Not hard, people. Like, I don't know which one's easy. Doesn't matter. Because I don't even know what's going to happen. Okay, beep boop. I see you with the 4, KP, 3, Mimi, 3, look, 2. Alright, so right now we got 3s, we got 2s, 4s. Okay, 2s and 3s are tied. Black P with the 3. Okay, so far 3's in the lead. Okay, anyone? Once? Twice? Alright, sold. We got 3's. So 3 is the extension, is identical to 7. Ooh, what does that mean? Okay, so we already got a number decreased by 8, so that will be our x minus 8. But what does is identical to 7 means? Okay, travel, I see you. Okay, is identical to 7. If you're not sure, there's a question mark. If you think you got it, put it in the chat. Okay, user 51, thank you. Thank you for your honesty. I know that wasn't easy. Trust me. Same as. Okay. Alright, equals 7. There you go. Alright. So, is, operative word. Is means equals. Is identical to. Is the same as. Is means equal. Equal to what? Equal to 7. Alright. So it's going to be equal to 7. So now let's solve this. What do I have to do in order to get x by itself? Okay. Yes. Add, there you go. Good. We have to do the inverse of the subtraction. The inverse or the opposite is the addition. So we're adding 8 to both sides. Negative 8 and positive 8 gives me 0, but I don't need the 0 because the x is also there on the left-hand side. And then 7 plus 8, that gives us 15. Okay, that gives us 15. Alright, we're okay. Okay, let's try another one. Why not? Okay, let's see if we can get this one. And then we are Dunsville. So I'll even cover it up. Okay, twice the quantity of 5 more than a number. Ooh. Twice the quantity of 5 more than a number. If you think you know it, go ahead and put it up. Okay. Alright, KP, thank you for your honesty. It does. So, ooh. Okay, Lock Queen. Very close. Very close. I'll give you that. C. Black Pearl, what are you doing? Okay, user 51, thank you for your honesty. No, it didn't. Mistake? Okay. Alright. Is it Danae? D-Y-N-I? Is it Danae or help me? Okay. Alright, Big Al, I see you. Alright. okay? So, twice. There you go, Hunter. Hey, Hunter. Alright, so twice. Twice means that you are multiplying something, because if it's happening twice, it's 2 times the fun, right? So what's happening twice? And this is the part that gets a lot of people. So a lot of you guys are saying that it is 2, and then you had x plus 5. Okay? So it says twice the quantity of. Anytime they say the quantity of, the product of, the difference of, that means there's something happening among 2 things. But that twice is an add-on. There we go. Okay, so that twice is an add-on. But then what's actually being held together is 5 more than a number. More than is not the inequality, which I'm so grateful a lot of you guys didn't put that down. If it said is more than, that's the inequality. But since it just says more than, that's addition. But 5 is going to be more than our number. So that means 5 is going to be the one that's going to be carrying the addition sign. But let's get back to twice. Is just the number being multiplied by 2? Or is it the expression here? The quantity of 5 more than a number is being multiplied by 2. Okay? So when they have something in front, it's going to be in front of like a parenthesis. Okay? Alright? So here's my thing. We have to get this translation. I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, this is why we have to express it in arithmetic. This is why we have to do this. This is why a lot of our exams are written and there's word problems to separate the haves and the have-nots. So this is why I'm here. Okay? If you don't like it, that's fine. So now I have 3 choices for the extension. Okay? And not language, but that's what they're testing for. Welcome to America. We have 1, we have 2, and we have 3. Okay, Lock Queen saying 1, Big Al saying 1. She's like 1, 1, 1. Okay, KP shaking up with the 2. Okay, Die with the 2. Oh, Black Pearl with the 2. Travel with 1. Okay, signed up. Oh, Bebop is saying 2. We're saying 1. Alright, so it looks like 1, 1. Alright, so what we got? Bam. Okay. Is equal to the number decreased by 7. Is equal to the number decreased by 7. How would I translate that? Okay, is equal to the number decreased by 7. Okay, Travel Chris, I see you. Okay. Lock Queen, very close. Hunter, of course you got it. Hi, we got it. Black Pro, something's missing. Okay. Alright. There we go. There we go. Alright. So, is equal to, so we have our equals. The number, so we're using the same number that we got, decreased by 7. There we go. So now, let me just keep this one up here because the previous one's up there. I don't want to confuse you. So, what do we do first? All my great mathematicians out there, what are we going to do first? What should we do? So we want to solve for x. What? Okay. Distribute distribution, the parentheses, distribute. Oh, Samantha. Okay, so we're going to multiply this 2 to everything inside of its parenthesis. Okay, so that means we have our 2x plus 2 times 5, which is 10. And then it's going to equal our x minus 7. This is the part that stumps a lot of you. Because you see a variable on both sides and you're like, oh, what do I do? Because it seems like every time people do one-step, two-step, multi-step equations, and if the variable's on one side or the other, you're perfectly fine. But when it comes to on both sides of the equal sign, we're not sure what to do. Well, put them on one side of the equal sign. Now, which way, it doesn't matter, okay? But I like to go with the one with the highest coefficient. So that means I want to bring this x over to my 2x. So if I subtract my 1x, because that's what it is, if you don't see a number in front of the x, we assume it's a 1, because there's physically one x there. So now we have 2x minus 1x, which is just simply x. And we can bring everything down. But here's another thing. If my x's are going to be here on the left-hand side, that means I need to move that positive 10 over to the right-hand side. So how do I move it? I subtract my 10. Okay. So then we'll have our x is equal to what? This is the other part. Yes, I've been a couple, Hunter. You didn't see me? Especially some of the late night ones. There we go. Negative 17. There we go. There we go. Now, for those that are just like, I think it's perfect. I'm glad you said that, Black Pearl. Now, the reason why it's not negative 3, not to insult, just want you to learn so we can process this. We have basically two negative numbers here. And I think the problem is people keep saying negative 7 minus 10. And your brain is like, blah, blah, blah. What? Think of it this way. You see that both of them have negative signs. You're combining. So it's really negative 7 plus negative 10. Think of money. Someone owes you $7. And for some sick and twisted reason, you loan them another $10. So how much money does this fool owe you? They owe you $17. Okay? Yes. When the signs are the same, when it's addition or subtraction, I always think of it always being addition, and I just give them their signs. So if the signs are the same, you're adding them and you're keeping that negative sign. Because if I told you, let me slide this over, but our answer is negative 17. But if I told you 10 plus 3, oh, you're like, psh, that's 13. Easy. Because your brain is used to addition. Your brain is used to whole numbers, especially positive whole numbers. But if I said 10 minus 3, notice the 10 is positive. The 3 is negative. And I'm adding those two together. If the signs are opposite, you're subtracting. So positive number, the largest number is 10. So think of it. I have $10. Then I spent $3. So that means I have $7 left. Yup, think of a bank account. Sadly. Yes, this is what's happening right now. But we're working on it. School's going to start soon. All right, so if I said this, the signs are different. So if I'm combining them, I have a negative 10 plus a positive 3. So if someone owes me $10 and they paid me $3, they still owe me $7. Okay? All right. And that's one thing. A lot of people like number lines, but when they get older, and especially for me, they don't get number lines because a lot of them don't get graphing because they don't get number lines. That's the reason why. So I'm assuming, do you have like younger students? Sneaker teacher, which I love your name. Right? Because a lot of people just don't understand where, then when I tell them your coordinate plane is basically two number lines, still doesn't work. So then when I said, it's like you're trying to give somebody directions on a city street, and they're like, oh, okay, not a problem, okay? But this is the thing. Yes, there is a lot of rules when it comes to math, especially adding and subtracting. That's one rule. But when you're multiplying or dividing, that's another rule. And we keep getting those rules mixed up. So, hey Lynette, how are you? So if I say negative 10 times negative 3. I should have done it the other way because I don't like using x's. But we're saying we're multiplying this. Scared cringe. When the signs are the same, regardless if it's a negative times a negative or if it's a positive times a positive, your answer is always going to be positive. When the signs are the same with multiplication, same with division. Your answer is always going to be positive. When the signs are different, one's positive and one's negative, your answer is always going to be negative. Okay? Alright? So sometimes it's like, how should I put this? Sometimes it's, I don't know if I want to say it's difficult for me because it's tough because I don't know you guys. Let's put it that way. I don't know if you're a 7-year-old that's watching it because your grandma's like, you need this, because I've actually had grandparents tell me that, or you're a high school student, or you're a middle school student, or you're a tutor, or a teacher, or another influencer. I have no idea. So I don't know where you're coming from. And I just want to make this clear. I don't want anyone to leave just yet because I want to clarify this. Is you have to understand when it comes to math, you have to find and tune your way of learning it. You have to learn it the first time before you can say, oh, okay, let me adjust my thinking, and then try to make connections. Okay, dots and parentheses, yes, definitely for algebra. We should get rid of x altogether. That's why I cringed when I did that. But then again, here's another thing, Hunter. We got people that when they left school for whatever reason, or the last time that they learned or seen multiplication, all they know is the x. And then this is what you get for answers. I love this. They're like, okay, give me 5 times a number, right? And they will do exactly this. And of course I have high school students or adults and I'm like, yo, XX, we're not doing that. That's porn. We're not doing that. You know? So they don't understand because later on that really means this. And we weren't talking about x squared. We're just talking about 5x. And because they couldn't get past the notion that X is no longer being used for multiplication, then they're given a test to test their skills, and right away they're being judged, they're being tossed aside, they're chucked into special education, which there's nothing wrong with special education, but there's a good amount of people that I've seen through my experience. Some of them like, what the hell are you doing here? It's because you just weren't exposed to the math, but now you're being judged. Whereas someone that needs the support, they're chucked into a general ed classroom and they're drowning. So I just want to make sure when I come on here, I'm touching on some of the concepts that you're going to see for the GED, for the ASVAT, for the Accuplacer. And if it means I have to teach it multiple ways, like how we did today. Today we were looking at system of equations, and I helped you solve it with substitution, but then I also helped you solve it with elimination. And as soon as we did elimination, a lot of people are like, oh, I like this way better. But see, now you were given a choice instead of just do it this way, do it my way. And I know teachers, I'm not trying to teacher bash, but there are some teachers out there, they're just like, this is my way. Dude, you didn't invent math. This is a way that you understand, but you have to give options. Okay, we have to give options. And if you don't understand anything, you're going to have to learn to advocate for yourself. Okay? So yes, I do have books. Yes, I do have flashcards. But all of that is in the link of my profile. And I'll show you where to go. And then you peruse. Okay? But we need to build this up. These are your foundations. Especially this. Everyone should know up to their 12 times table. You will get through so much, like trying to figure out how much roughly would it be before taxes if they're taking a sales price off, by knowing that. Okay? All of a sudden your phone's near death and you're like, okay, you're halfway through and then all of a sudden the phone dies. So how else are you going to calculate it? Okay? So with all that, you have your foundations. You have that strong foundation, the strong root. Then you have your algebra. But I just want to mention this. Your environment, how you were learning it, it could have been strong. It could have been enriched. Or you were just in a school just because you're in that was your neighborhood school. And guess what? Even though you still have roots, they're not that strong, but there's still time to replant. You don't have to stay in the same environment. You don't. So if you want to replant, rebuild, find where you can get your nutrients. If it's through me, awesome. If it's not, hey, we got so many people, even Hunter's here. We got Learning with Lynette. She's working with using the abacus, how you can add, subtract, multiply, and divide. If you need something more tangible so you'll be able to understand those things, go to Learning with Lynette. If you want more late night breakdown of math concepts so you can build your confidence, you got Hunter. If you are trying to be a nurse and you need some more assistance with your dosage calculations, go to a blessed RN. If you need more support when I'm not here, I mean, there's other people. There's Math by Stephanie. There is, oh God, what's her name? Engaged? No. I can never forget what's her name's number. It's never Impact Math. There we go. Impact Math 19. She does a lot of the basic concepts that I do, but she does more with the test taking. So if you need assistance, if you need growth, message me. I'm more than willing to guide you into the next person. If it's not me, at least find someone that you can get the assistance that you need. Stop sitting in the dark wondering, oh, who's going to help me? You got to help yourself. I love you, but I have to be this firm with you because I don't see anybody else that's kicking you in the ass. So let me be the one to put my foot there. I wear a size 12. All of a sudden, the foot fetish people just went nuts. She's a size 12. Calm it down. All right. So in order for us to get to this thing called algebra, you need to get these foundations. Don't just study. Okay? Don't just sit there and try to memorize what these books are giving you. Okay? Yes, I have all my books here. Yes, I have, and all these I've created. You get a QR code, and then there'll be a video that's with it. I give you space to write your notes. I give you space to write your practice from the videos, and I give you extra practice problems. Don't buy the books just for the extra practice problems. And then you're like, oh, well, the answer's supposed to be 3, but you got 12. Okay, how is that? Did you watch the video? No, watch the video. And then you have all these resources and extra practice problems that I put as cards instead of just generic, here's 28 or 40 problems on one page. So now you can solve them, but then I make it into a matching game. So you can see which one it is, but then there's also an answer key. Okay? So don't just take a look at other people's PDFs or watch the videos and then do nothing with it. What are you going to do with all this information that we did today? What are you going to do with all this info that you did today? All this work. Okay? What are you going to do with that? Also this stuff. What are you going to do with it? Is it just going to sit in your phone? Huh? What are we going to do? What are we going to do with this? Hold on. There's more.
Caught up in the dream drama. Believe.
So, if you go to my profile, okay, you take a look, you're like, oh, she's trying to sell us stuff. But I put all my stuff on here because there's only so much room I can put on TikTok's profile. So when I click on that link, sorry, I'm blinding you for 5 seconds. So when we click on this link, ooh, I don't know why all of a sudden it's like, hello. Maybe because the sun is finally up. Let's see. That's a little bit better. Okay. So with my Stand Store, you click on the link, there's a free math chat. You can go ahead and play around with that. It gives you a whole bunch of my systems. I don't know why this is so blessed bright. Here we go. Alright, you can go through all that. Have fun. Look through the store. But then here, right in between the F and the N, okay, my YT channel. All of my lives here on TikTok are here. Give me about an hour and some to show you. All of my lives are here. Take a look at it. Okay, take a look at that. If you don't want to pay for anything, that's fine. I'm not forcing you. If you want to talk to me about tutoring and all that stuff, that's great. If you want, you can email me. See this symbol right here? You can email me. Alright, you're preparing for nursing school? That's exactly right. So if anything, message me. Tell me what test you're taking. And then right here with this free math checkup, all you have to do is put your email in. It'll send you a general, what are some of the stuff that you'll see in most standardized tests. Okay? Try to do the problems. I have yet to have anyone do this. If you do the problems and you want me, yes, there's an answer key there, but if you want me to look over it, to probably help you, to guide you to your next step, do the thing and then send me your results. What did you do? Take pictures of your work. Trust me, I'm a math teacher. I can see and I can read all types of handwriting. I swear I should be a Cliff for the FBI, right? But that's what happens. But no one takes advantage of that. So you're going to get all this stuff and then do what with it? Because you can't just watch a video and like, oh, I know, I totally understand it. Because how many times has this happened to you? Here we go. Ready? And I'm going to get off my soapbox. How many times have you watched a video, you maybe even done a class, and then when it's time for you to do it, you completely forgot? Show of hands up. Just say me. Put me in the chat. Because I know I've done that. How do you download the lives on YouTube? Oh, what do you mean download my lives? Oh, here on YouTube? I don't download my lives from YouTube to here. I take my lives from here and put it on YouTube. Okay? Big Al, thank you for your honesty. KP, thank you for your honesty. Okay? And I know there's more of you. Because there's like roughly 72, eliminating a couple people. There's probably like a good 65 of you that are probably saying the same thing, but don't want to say anything. My babies, in order for you to get anything in life, you're going to have to learn to speak up. And I am coming from a complete introvert growing up. Never spoke, never did anything. Now I'm on TikTok. And I am not going to shut up until I die. Okay. TikTok on YouTube. Okay. So Hunter, I'll have to show you. I have to show you. So if anything, message me to remind me to maybe sit down with you. We could do a Zoom call. Okay. All right. So I want you to take this information and be able to practice it. That's the only way it can stick in your brain. So now that you learn these things, you need something to solidify. You need to actually sit down and write a piece of paper. That's what we do in the classroom. You learn it, then there's either an activity or a worksheet or some kind of homework assignment to solidify your understanding. And then when you have questions, you can have that person to give you that support so you can have that progression. But right now, if you want, again, you can go to my profile, the link that's in my bio, and if you want to chit-chat about that, okay, I know it's called a tutoring interest call, but it's still a 15-minute interest call. Okay? All right? So you can get questions. Or just DM me here and say, hey, Miss Audrey, I'm trying to go into blank class. I have to take this test. I've taken it how many times? Or I haven't taken it yet and I'm freaking out and I want to get this done. All right, so let's chat. Even if you're like, hey, I need something for my 4th grader. Okay, that's not me. Okay, but if it's basic concepts or if it's just learning addition, talk to Lynette. She does awesome. Her books are amazing. Hell, I wish I had it when I was a kid. Okay, it's not like just here's some practice problems. It's more interactive. All right. So if you need the assistance, reach out. Hell, if some people are bold enough to reach out to me and ask me to be their sugar baby, well, damn it, you can ask me about the math test that's going to help change your life so you don't have to keep living in this bleep hole, so you can actually do something with your life while you still have the choice to live your life. Okay? Because seriously, I probably should be a sugar baby to like 4 or 5 different men right now. For heaven's sake. All right. Okay, so Hunter, I'm looking forward to your message. Everyone else, I'm looking forward to your messages. Let's go. I don't need thousands of people. I've realized that. I have gotten to that in my brain. I don't need thousands of people. I need for you to be successful. Do you hear me? Am I making myself clear? Do I need to come on this camera so I can be real up close and personal with you? Yeah, let's bring the sugar babies even further. Ready? Oh, we can't hide it? Alright, cool. Alright, it's not letting me. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I did the old lady look. I need you. I need you to want to do the best for you. Okay? I need you to be the best for you. Because when you're the best, that's one less person that I have to worry about. And that makes this world so much better. You might be needed to be a nurse. You might be needed to be a mother. You might be needed to be a teacher. You might be needed just to be into the military. You might be that factor that we need to stop all the wars. We have no idea. Because right now, you're worried about being insecure. You're worried about being overwhelmed and scared. Don't worry about that. You have someone that's supporting you. I'm right here. And that's why I feel like this is what my calling is. Like I said to you, I used to suck at math when I was a kid. Horrible. Fractions? Nope. Word problems? What the hell is this? Not doing that. So that's why I come on here, because I know exactly what it feels like to go into a situation. You try to prepare as best as you can, but there's only so much that you can do because you only have so much of the content knowledge. It's not the determination and drive, it's the content knowledge that you need. And you want someone that's going to be patient enough, that's going to take it step by step, that's not going to put you in a situation that you're going to feel uncomfortable. I'm not going to yell at you. I don't want to get paid just to get paid. I want to have you guys pay for these so this could be the factor that pushes you over the edge. I want the best for you, but you got to want the best for yourself. All right? So, much love. Let me get back to my sugar babies. Craziness. All right, everyone. Do you recommend math debating your pool C? What the hell are you talking about? Okay. What do people know about my life lives? Yeah. Yeah, it would. It would. And then also more publication about how you do stuff on here. So, message me, Hunter. Okay? All right, everyone. Have a good day. I'm going to try to keep it going. Bye.